So but that's for my honorable mentions. So now we will hop into our top 10 games of 2021. And since you were being my guest, I'll let you go with yours. So what do you have at number 10?
So my number 10 is a game that actually literally just came out this month, which will be Halo Infinite. Well, the single player just came out this month. Let me reiterate, you know what I'm saying? So me and Halo have a love-hate relationship. I hate Halo while people love it. You know, story-wise, it has like kind of got into the crapper. But I will say for the most part, like Halo Infinite, it has made me enjoy playing the actual game, especially the multiplayer. I mean, you know better than anybody, I don't really just be online like that when it comes to shooting games. But it's, you know, if anybody want to be like, you know, let's jump on Halo for a little bit, I will. But, you know, and I'm a big fan of the single player for the most part. They did as good a job on the campaign as I would say explaining the story from what it was so far and kind of like, you know, continuing it from her on out with Master Chief. But yeah, my number 10 is Halo Infinite. You barely made it, but you squeaked top 10. But that also lets you know if I would have finished at least one of those other games in my honorable mentions, it definitely wouldn't have made it into my top 10. But yeah, number 10 is Halo Infinite.
Okay. All right. For my number 10 is a game that I was actually very much looking forward to. Dodgeball Academia, whatever. It's Damia. It's a dodgeball RPG. And when I first saw this, I think I saw it on the Steam Summerfest this past summer. I saw a trailer of it and I was like, oh, that looks dope. And it's on Game Pass. So, you know, value there. This was one of the games that I got about halfway through and I just kind of noped out on it. Not because I didn't enjoy it. It's just that the gameplay is cool. So it's pretty much, it's like you actually playing dodgeball. So it's you. Sometimes you'll have 1v1 matches. Sometimes you'll have 2 other teammates and you'll face like 5 other people, but it's live. So you got to catch the balls. You got to throw them. You can reflect them. You get supers and things like that. I will say I probably put about maybe 5-6 hours into this. I did enjoy it. The story, it's not really too much to go on. It's pretty much you transfer to this dodgeball school and you just want to become the best dodgeball player ever. Of course, you run into other people who don't like you because you're so optimistic. And then you got playing this big tournament and then there's all this other stuff. And I'm just like, all right, this story is kind of meh at best. But it's definitely was fun. I had fun with my time with it. I just knew I looked at how long the game was and I was just like, I'm good on this. Like the gameplay was good. The story could have been better, but it's kind of one of those games where it's like, it is what it is. It's just like I don't think there was much more of the gameplay. Like the gameplay is fine, but after a while it does get a bit repetitive. Also, when you can jump and throw and your opponent doesn't react to it. So that's kind of like a little cheese tactic that you can use. To pretty much get some hits in. There is little light RPG elements. So you have like attack, defense, and a technical. And technical basically is how fast your special meter charges. So it was cool. But after, like I said, 5 or 6 hours, I was just like, I don't know if I want to continue this. So it is my number 10. Great game. It's just, I didn't really see it all the way through.
So what's better, that or Knockout City?
Honestly, Knockout City.
Oh, well, enough said. All right. Number 9.
Mainly because it has multiplayer, but like the actual dodgeball mechanics is way more in depth than Knockout City.
Ah, got you. I can see that though. I was like you with Knockout City though. Like I put in a couple of hours and I was like, tired of getting drove, fam. But my number 9 is a game that I was definitely excited for when it was first announced, and that's Back 4 Blood. I mean, look, so here's the thing. It's made by basically the same people that made Left 4 Dead. Now, the problem with that is if you look at it and compare it to Left 4 Dead, it'll kind of like skewer your thinking when it comes to like just critiquing the game though. If you just look at it just a multiplayer game, it is phenomenal. Like the gunplay is excellent. Now, if you do compare it to Left 4 Dead, gunplay wise, it's no comparison. Like the guns in Back for Blood are like way better. Now I will say this though, some of the special effected on that game was OP as hell. Um, I'm not gonna get into specific ones. I want y'all to figure it out for yourself when you play the game. But overall though, it was fun. Like kind of like getting that 4-player co-op. You know what I'm saying? Shooting zombies since GTFO don't want to be on consoles and just on PC. But like I said, Back for Blood, I definitely enjoyed playing, and I did like the little card system that they did have like on the game though. Like at first, I didn't really get it when I was playing the beta because it was just like, what the hell are these cards for? But like, you know, as you playing through the game, it kind of like lets you like, you know, go into it with different strategies. So I mean, yeah, my number 9 is Back for Blood.
All right. So for my number 9, and it's actually so funny that you said that on my number 10. So usually for my top 10, I don't put multiplayer games in it. And this year I kind of made an exception just because I had so much fun with, I have like 2 in here. I had just had so much fun with these that I couldn't leave them off. So my number 9, funny enough, is actually Knockout City.
That is funny.
I was super skeptical when this game came out. So I have the EA Play, whatever the EA Play is on PC for Origin. So that's what I was playing it on. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'll test this game out. It seems fun, you know, something different. Boy, this game, when it came out for probably the first month or 2, I was heavy on it every day. It's surprising that this game was made, just because you don't really see too many multiplayer games try different stuff like dodgeball or what have you. It's fun. Like there is a skill gap. Like you can't just go in there and just throw and hope to be good. Like there's 2 different flips. There's a flip where you can throw it over. There's a flip where you can turn. I've actually watched some videos and you can cancel those, so you can kind of get real depth into it if you want to. There's different power-ups. So they have like a cage ball where you throw it at somebody and they become a ball and you can throw them off stage and throw it at an opponent. A football, which is a sniper. A moon ball, which gives you like lets you float in the air and jump higher, and then does the same thing to your opponent if you hit them with it. Just a nice balanced game. My only thing is I started having some issues with PC where my game would profusely lag, being that I'm like hardwired Ethernet. I know it wasn't my internet or anything, so they may have patched some things because it's been a few months since I played, but I definitely did enjoy it. My only thing that I would say, and I really wish that, like, I guess you could say indie games or games that, you know, not too many people know about do this, especially like in the, I guess, sports genre or what have you. I really wish games would stop taking that Fortnite like look.
Yeah, man.
Cause that's like that. I even said that like when I first found out about the game, like it looks cool, I'll play it, but it looks super kiddie-ish, which I guess, you know, you want to get a younger audience into it. But I mean, honestly, I feel like this game would have benefited if it had like a more anime or a cartoon art style, not like the whole Fortnite, you know, I don't know. There's a bunch of games that like I would have loved to play, but they just have that art style that kind of dissuades people. But yeah, overall, and then also like I think the game is free to play up until level 25. So yeah, you can do that. It's on Xbox, PC, PS4, PS5. So you can basically try it for free for X amount of time until you have to buy it. But that's my number 9, Knockout City.
That is funny that I did bring that up. My bad. I didn't mean to spoil it for you. You know, what I'm saying?
You fine. I just thought that was hilarious. And then it's just also hilarious. I have 2 dodgeball games. It's my 9 and 10.
Right. That is funny. So my number 8 is a game that I text you about a lot when it first came out. And a lot of people really didn't play it until I gave them the go ahead. But Scarlet Nexus is my number 8 game. I think, well, it's on Game Pass now, but I bought it when it first came out. So art style wise, it kind of got that, you know, anime / JRPG feel to it. You can play with characters, you know, dude and a chick. I actually like playing with the dude a little bit more because, you know, he's obviously a little bit quicker, but the combat is the main thing like in this game. Storyline wise, it it kind of starts off, you know what I'm saying, on track, and then after a while, like the story just goes off the rails. So don't even worry about that. But gameplay and combat wise, though, the way you're able to like combine like, you know, your telekinesis powers with like, you know, like speed, time. Look, once you unlock all your colleagues' powers and able to combine them and switch in between them, the game definitely really like opens up after that. And I just like, you know what I'm saying, like doing what's the little mind brain drive
Yeah, brain
move.
drive.
Yeah, like it's just look, the game is a lot of fun. Like I thoroughly enjoyed playing this game. I mean, I was kind of mad that like literally a few months later it was on Game Pass. So I was like,
Exactly.
oh well, I could have just waited. But like I said, man, overall though, I really enjoy Scarlet Nexus, and that is why it is my number 8 game on my top 10 list.
All right. Well, I mean, might as well go into it because that's my number 8 as well. It's Scarlet Nexus.
Full disclaimer, we don't know what's on each other's list like at all. So this is why we laughing, because this
exactly.
is funny.
And this happens literally every year. We do this.
Every
like
time.
We have 1 or 2 games that are like the same place every year. But yeah, to piggyback on that, Scarlet Nexus is my number 8. I'm the same thing with you. I first saw this game and I was like, all right, this looks cool. You know, a nice little action RPG. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the game. The combat is amazing. One thing I've learned about me this year, especially when it comes to like action games or games with in-depth combat systems, I love finding ways to break the game and just get as OP as possible.
Right.
So I'm like, when I play this game, I'm legit doing Devil May Cry combos, 3-hit combos, pop them up, do another combo, do a power, turn on the fire, do another combo, then do a down slash. Like that's literally like the majority of my gameplay, just seeing how long I can do a combo without it breaking. But yeah, this game, the combat is amazing. I will say I do like playing as a dude better. Playing as a girl is kind of cool, but she's a little bit more slower, so you got to be a little bit more careful with how you play, like more as a what's that, like a counter or a reactive than the sword dude, where you can just kind of go in and just, you know, button mash a little bit. But yeah, I am with you. I'm probably about halfway or 60% done, and yeah, the story does get very awkward after the first point, and it's kind of weird because there are the 2 characters, but it's like you have his version of the story and then you have her version. And in his version, because I've kind of read, because I was trying to figure out who I wanted to play with first, and most people say play as the guy first, because a lot of the stuff on his story that you don't find out till like towards the end is all in the girl's story. So like if you play her first and then play his, it kind of defeats the purpose. But yeah, overall, Scarlet Nexus is a great game. I do plan to finish it and may try doing a second playthrough as the female protagonist. But yeah, Scarlet Nexus is also my number 8 game of the year.
So that's hilarious. Every year, it never fails. So my number 7 is probably a game that you would think would have been in my number 3, but my number 7 is actually Deathloop, which was released on the PS5. And here's why. Like, all right, so I love the game, you know what I'm saying? It gives me the whole Dishonored, you know what I'm saying, mechanics and stuff like that. But kind of the same thing with Far Cry. Like after a while, like the lore just kind of wears off, you know what I'm saying? Like, and honestly, you can call me what you want, but it annoyed the hell out of me after a while. Like I got all these guns, I done loaded up on everything, and as soon as I die, I gotta start all the way over, which means I gotta go find all of this all over again. So the reason why this doesn't even make my top 5, I'm not even gonna lie to you, and I'm not gonna like spoil the ending, but I think it was Fable 2, where they gave you 3 different choices to make at the end of the game. And all 3 choices basically was kind of like, did you really kind of win in the end? So all 3 choices in the ending of Deathloop just kind of like made me just be like, all right, whatever. But like I said, I did enjoy the game. I do love both of the main characters, you know what I'm saying, for the most part. But as a PS5 exclusive, or just as an exclusive in general, it's fun, it's entertaining as hell, you know what I'm saying. But it, like I said, it just kind of got old after a while. So yeah, that's why it is only number 7.
Got you. No, understandable. So my number 7, is also another exclusive, which you would probably think would be in my top 10, not top 10, top 3. And I'll have to kind of explain why it's so low on my list. It is Ratchet and Clank: A Rift in Time. So pretty much the first game that came out that can show what the PS5 is capable of. First off, I must say this is an amazing game. It's a beautiful game. It's basically like playing a Pixar movie in live. I think what it honestly is, I don't think I'm a huge fan of platformers like this, like I either used to be or like I thought I was. Because I got about halfway through the game and I'm like, all right, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying myself. And then at one point I was just like, you know what? I think I'm good on this. The story is, is pretty much straightforward. Hero stuff happens. You got to go through dimensions, fight stuff. But after doing that for a while and just kind of playing the game, I kind of asked myself, it's like, am I actually having fun with this? Or am I kind of just doing this just so I can beat it, just to say I beat it? So I kind of just put it down and I was just like, you know what? I'm good on this. I will say this is a very good representation of what the PS5 is capable of, especially with the time rifts and pretty much instantaneous loading. Definitely no loads in this game at all. A bunch of collectibles, so if you're into that, you can get different suits with different effects and stuff like that. All the guns I played so far is fun. I pretty much would start combat by throwing the little sprinkler and then the Mr. Fun guy and then just shotgunning everything to death. And do it like that. But yeah, overall, I definitely enjoyed the game. I would recommend it if you do have a PS5. It is one of the games that you can only play on that console, and it will, I guess, give you kind of a reason to play stuff on your PS5 that's for it. But overall, for me, I just wasn't really... It didn't hook me like I thought it would. I'll say that. I thought it would hook me a little bit more, but after a while I was just like, you know what, I'm good on it, but still my number 7 on my top 10 list.
I'm surprised, but not really shocked though, because I can see that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, especially with you been kind of like playing a bunch of different other genres lately, I can kind of see how you can go with that.
And the funny thing about it is, like, I think I've been aware that I'm not a huge platformer because I bought Mario Odyssey when it came out. And I don't even think I got past the first world on that. And I was just like, yeah, so I think platformers may be a little out of my ballpark, at least for the time being.
Nah, I mean, I feel you on that. I mean, because to be honest with you, that's kind of how I've been feeling with like first-person shooters. Like, because I mean, honestly, you see everything I play. You rarely see me playing a first-person shooter. You know what I'm saying? But my number 6 is a game that was on your honorable mention list, but Forza Horizon 5. I mean, honestly, just to kind of like piggyback what you said, this game is probably one of the most beautiful games that I've ever seen. If you want to see a game test the Xbox Series X or the S graphics, this game is definitely one to do it. It is a beautiful representation of Mexico. Shout out to my Pokemon and my Naruto cars because they both look amazing. It's like with every Forza game, honestly, it's just a lot to do, but not to the point to where it's like overwhelming like you playing an Assassin's Creed game. But like I said, the different race types, the different things you can do, the way the weather is on this game, like the dust storms basically feels like Mad Max. Like I BS you not, like when I went in my first dust storm, I was like, oh yeah, it feel like I'm on Mad Max. And like all the different weather really affects your cars, you can tell. But yeah, man. And then honestly, like Need for Speed, they done kind of fell off the last couple of years. I mean, Heat was cool, but But Forza has basically like been king, and it's kind of funny now when you think about it, because Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon kind of remind me of the Shin Megami Tensei series and Persona. Like it's kind of like the spin-off is more popular than, you know what I'm saying, where it originated from. Like Persona is kind of getting more popular than Shin Megami, and the Horizon games being more popular than the Motorsport. So, but yeah, man, overall though, I just enjoy playing Forza. Like how you be playing other games, this is kind of the game I play like before I'm about to fall asleep. Like, throw on Spotify or Apple Music, and then just drive around until I pass out or until I wreck and I get tired of hitting rewind. But
exactly.
But yeah, man, Forza Horizon 5, my number 6.
All right. So for my number 6, surprise, surprise, it's another JRPG. Bravely Default 2. So this is another game that came out earlier this year, and I actually just started putting some serious hours into it probably towards the beginning of November, which is why it's on my list. Probably would have been higher if I would have got close to the end. If you're a fan of the Bravely series, it originated on the 3DS. I played Bravely Default 1 and a little bit of Bravely 2nd. Enjoyed both of those games. This one, I think I even text you about this. So the reason I didn't play this game a lot when I first got it, it has this little, I don't know what you want to call it, like blur filter to where basically everything on the edge of the screen is blurred out, trying to make it more fantasy or mosaic or whatever. And that hurt the hell out of my eyes. Even on docked mode, in handheld mode, it just made it very difficult to like run around a lot. So I booted the game up towards the beginning of November, and I was like, oh, there's an option here where you can turn that off. Makes everything much more clear. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still a Switch game, so it's not, Horizon or Ratchet and Clank levels of clarity, but it does make it more easier on the eyes. But the main thing about this is kind of like old Final Fantasy games where you get a job system. So you have a main job, secondary job, and then of course you have your mages, white mages, black mages, warriors, monks, beast tamers, just a bunch of jobs that you can mix and match skills for. And they have the the brave and default system. So pretty much you start your turn and you can pretty much use future turns that turn, but whenever you do that, you're unable to act in the next couple of turns until you recover. This was one of the things I loved about Octopath Traveler when it came out. I'm not sure if it's made by the same company, but they have a similar battle system. But yeah, this one was really good. I'm about 40% through to it. So the only thing that I hope doesn't happen, and this happened in the first Bravely Default, and I pray it doesn't happen in this one. So sometimes these type of RPGs will do a thing where it's like, all right, you're fighting towards the main bad guy or whatever. Bravely Default 1 pretty much like, all right, you beat the main guy. By the way, there's 3 other giant crystals that you got to do these big long dungeons for before you actually get to the true ending and fight the real bad guy of the game. So that's kind of my hope. I haven't really read anything on the end of this game because I don't want to spoil myself, but hopefully that's the case. Also, I meant to mention this as well. The voice acting in this game, it's pretty good. I want to say it's kind of like English voice acting. Everybody sounds like British or Australian, like they have a very thick accent. So I'm not sure if that's just of the time period that it's in or like where it was made, but the voice acting for the main characters for the most part are pretty good. Some of the support characters can be a little meh for sure. You can tell they just got like interns to fill in the voices, but yeah, overall, if you love JRPGs, this is a great pickup on the Switch. It's also on PC as well, so if you want to play it on there, I'm probably sure that has more options to make it look a little bit more clear or a little bit more better than on the Switch. But that's my number 6, Bravely Default 2.
Whew. Okay, so now we get into it. So my number 5 is another game that's on your honorable mention, so I'll be kind of careful about what I say about it. But Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is my number 5 video game. Now I text you when I got it, and I text you when I was done, and I told you that I was very impressed by this video game. Like, no lie, because for one, like you said, I'm not gonna regurgitate what you said earlier, but like playing with just Star-Lord is it could have been a hit or miss situation, you know what I'm saying? Because for one, Chris Pratt done basically ruined Star-Lord because of his dumb decisions he made in the MCU. But luckily, like none of these characters had anything to do with the MCU, so that was already a plus. Like everybody feels like their comic book version, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna like get into it, but I mean, but like I said, you just started, and I'm pretty sure you can already like tell the dynamic. But it's gonna be rewarding like later on in the game where you kind of see like them, like get closer and stuff like that. But the combat is fantastic. Don't let the difficulty choices fool you, because all the difficulties are hard. So either way it go, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be getting your shine on. But yeah, man, I enjoyed myself playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and like all the Easter eggs and stuff like that, and there's so many suits you can collect in this game too. And I gotta go back and do another playthrough because it's some that I missed. But yeah, man, like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy, bravo, Square Enix. I'm glad y'all pulled a Sonic and listened to the criticism, you know what I'm saying, and like fixed it for the most part, because y'all couldn't come out and pull another Avengers, bro. Like, if y'all would have said, they would have banned y'all from making superhero games ever again. They would have told y'all to just stick to Final Fantasy and that's it. But yeah, number 5, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right, it's good to know what I'm looking in for that one. For my number 5, this one was already on your list, and as I said, I mainly put this on here for the multiplayer as I'm still playing through the single player. Halo Infinite. For y'all that may not know, some of y'all may, I know I'm a huge Halo fan. It's pretty much the first FPS that I actually took serious and was like, you know what, I can be above average at this game. Don't look up my KD on Halo Tracker. I'm still, you know, figuring out things, but yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much Halo. I've always said this ever since we started this new era of FPSs with like Fortnite, Apex, Call of Duty Warzone. I always wondered what a modern Halo would look like in the FPS genre now, because before this we got Halo 5, which was 2015. Of course, we got the Master. Yeah, we won't talk about that. But we got the Master Chief Collection too, but that was a little bit of a dumpster fire when it came out, and then it just started to really become good the past year or so. So I am excited that they did kind of shadow drop this, even though people kind of knew like the days leading up to it on Microsoft's, or I'm sorry, Halo's 20-year anniversary, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to play that. I also played some of the flight betas during it, and it's pretty much classic Halo. As far as the story mode goes, I'm still very early in the story. I think I just got to the open area part, so I'm like super early. I will say though, I do, and I don't know if maybe the older Halo games were like this, but I do like basically seeing like a cinematic Halo. The cutscenes are done really well. Of course, you know, depending on how you feel about Master Chief, if you think he's a good character, a bad character, he's too stoic, just being able to see him in a cutscene now, you know, is kind of like, wow, this is like done super well. I'm not that far into the story, but so far it seems like it's pretty much your classic Halo. You know, somehow Chief got his ass kicked and was floating in space, and now we got to go back and get the ring. So
my bad, I didn't mean to cut you out, but did you laugh like I did when he got his ass beat and was floating in space like Commander Shepard in Mass Effect 2?
I did. I was just like, they just started the game. It's like, oh, all right, we find all right. Just threw me off this thing. So
that's definitely one of them. I bet y'all wonder how I got up in this situation.
Pretty much. He wipes the ice off the shield. It's like, I bet you're wondering how I got here. We'll play this campaign for the next 8 to 10 hours and you'll find out.
Oh man, he got his ass whooped so bad in the beginning of the game, bro. My bad, fam. I just had to.
No, you good. I thought that was hilarious as well. But overall, like I said, it's an amazing game. The multiplayer is just great. The guns feel good. You know, if you kind of know what you're doing, then you can definitely excel. Now they've added different playlists, so now you can choose between ranked, Slayer, Fiesta, big team battle, things like that. But yeah, overall it's definitely interesting. One thing I would like to see, and this is kind of a side note of this, I would love to see a RPG in the Halo universe. I think I tweeted this maybe a week or two ago, sometime earlier this month. I would love to see a Mass Effect style RPG in the Halo universe. And it don't even got to be Master Chief. It could be, I mean, if you want to bring Spartan Locke back, you could be. I don't know if they want to bring. Yeah, I don't know if they want to bring Mr. Coulter back. If you want to use somebody, like, just imagine playing as Master Chief or like one of the Spartans and then having to go and get a team of people to stop, I don't know, the Flood 2.0, Gravemind came back, whatever. You could have like an Arbiter, you know, an Elite, a Brute, like, you know, get a Grunt for comedic relief. Like, it's a bunch of possibilities, but I would definitely love to see, because I know they're doing a TV show, but I would love to see like a space RPG from that. But yeah, my number 5 is Halo Infinite.
Okay, so like, no lie, my top 4 was a little bit difficult to order. Kind of a little bit more difficult than I thought, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like last year was kind of like easy for me to be like, all right, this boom boom boom, but all right. So My number 4 is Resident Evil Village. Arguably, honestly, it kind of got robbed as video game of the year with the video game awards, but honestly, I kind of stopped taking the video game awards seriously a long time ago. But honestly, like, they did a fantastic job of like basically like ending Ethan's story. I mean, we kind of really still didn't like see what he looks like, but and it also described a lot, because one of the main questions that I know I had after Resident Evil 7 was how in the hell was he surviving all this stuff that he was going through? Because Ethan, the Baker family alone put him through some shit. You know what I'm saying? So he done got his hand chopped off. Well, he got his hand chopped off again in this game. But I mean, look, as we all know, all you pervs out there, Lady D was like the MVP of Resident Evil Village. Fantastic villain. Boss fight, ugly as hell. But overall, though, I just love the fact that I like how Resident Evils feel like Resident Evil again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was fine with the actions, you know what I'm saying, approach that Resident Evil 4 took. I really actually didn't have a problem with Resident Evil 5, besides the fact that, like, if Sheva was like the AI, she would be dumb as hell. Other than that, you know, and Chris punching a boulder, Resident Evil 5 wasn't that bad. Now, Resident Evil 6, that's, you know what I'm saying, everything just, you know, like, got off the rail. But, you know, 7, it reintroduced that old school Resident Evil feel. Resident Evil Village, it added on top of that. Now, story-wise, I have no idea where they're going from here, because, you know, the little post-credit scene that we got afterwards, I mean, playing with his daughter now, like, I don't know what we got going on. But as far as a video game go, man, yeah, Resident Evil Village was fantastic. And it's kind of crazy that it's on my number 4, considering I said it should have won video game of the year. But that just lets you know, man, hey, this ain't your IGN list, you know what I'm saying? This is our personal list. But yeah, man, I definitely had a bunch of fun playing Resident Evil Village. I'm not playing again though. Like, once I beat it, I beat it one time. I don't need no new game plus second playthrough of going back through the village, fam.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Iceberg, though.
I honestly feel like he was a better character than Lady D, at least from what I saw. I didn't play the game, but I watched like streams and playthroughs of it, so I'm like, I know what happens in the story. But yeah, I feel like Eisenberg was like a better character than her. And
boss fight, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, his boss fight was I was not expecting, for sure.
Yeah, that was bananas. I loved it though. But yeah, Resident Evil Village is my number 4.
Okay. So yeah, so for my top 4, my top 4 is pretty much what you would expect from me if you know what type of games I like. One of them I kind of put in there as a technicality, but I couldn't leave off the list. But for my number 4 is gonna be Persona 5 Strikers. Now, this game came out in February. I played a good chunk of it. I think I'm about like 60% done with it. This technically is a sequel to Persona 5 because it takes place afterwards. It pretty much, long story short, after the events of Persona 5, which I don't really know how much it affected the world or not, but it's basically their summer break and they're like, hey, somehow they get a van and like, let's go on a summer trip. And they kind of get roped into saving the world again with a police officer or private investigator, I'm sorry, and some other things. It's honestly Dynasty Warriors, but with Persona 5 skin on it, which I was super skeptical on, because I was like, all right, you have this traditionally turn-based RPG game and now you're going to be actually doing the combat yourself in real time. How would it work? It actually turned out way better than I thought it was. And, you know, I definitely enjoyed the combat. The story is low-key. The story could have just been like DLC for Persona, if you know, but they made a separate game for it. But the story is pretty much, you know, it is what it is. I will say the reason why it's not in my top 3 or not my number 1, combat can get a little bit confusing at times. It took me like at least a good 4 or 5 hours before I felt very comfortable with it. I had to watch a bunch of videos because, you know, in Persona games, SP management or mana, if you're into RPGs, is very important. And in this game, you can run through your SP a lot. So I learned that if you hit the regular attack button and then use the triangle attack, you actually use a special, you know, whatever like lightning, fire or whatever that you have, you can use that and it counts as like a fire attack, which I don't think they tell you that in the game. But overall, the combat is kind of why it's a little bit lower on my list. The combat is fun. It does get very monotonous, especially with the filler enemies, I will say. Boss battles are pretty good. It took a while to learn that because they have like different, you know how you fight bosses and they have like different health bars.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then like you got to do a certain attack to break their health bar to get them to the next one, which also I don't think was actually explained in the game. But overall, if you're a Persona fan and you like the game, this is definitely a good game to play. I will say if you are hopping into this and have not played Persona 5 or even, well, no, Persona 5, because this game doesn't,
it gotta be 5.
Yeah, it doesn't take Royal into consideration. Play that first. I know that's a lot, asking you to play a 100-hour game before you play this, but there's just a lot of references and things that you wouldn't get, or you'll be asking, it's like, oh, why can't they do this, or what do they mean by this, which you won't get unless you either play the game or do a bunch of research as far as what happened. But yeah, definitely enjoyable. I would definitely recommend it with an asterisk, as I just said. But number 4 is Persona 5 Strikers.
I think it's actually going to be free on PlayStation next month. That's the the PS game of the month.
Okay.
It's funny because I bought it on my Nintendo Switch, and I was just like, yeah, I can't play this on my Switch. I have to play this on, the PlayStation. Number 3. You probably think it'd be number 1, but number 3 is Lost Judgment. So, and here's why it's number 3. And me and you had a discussion about this, you know what I'm saying? Like when I actually finally beat it and played it. So I love the new combat style, you know what I'm saying? I think it's snake style, I want to say. So I love the new fighting style, with the whole reversing and throwing and grappling and stuff like that. The reason why it's number 3 and not number 1 possibly is because I feel like the story on the first game was a little bit better than this one. So I like the way that they kind of handled the whole topic about bullying, you know what I'm saying? Because you could actually understand why the villain, and I air quoted villain because I mean, he was doing villainous things, but he had a legit reason and know why he was doing it. But like I said, I like, you know what I'm saying, the dynamic between him and Tak, and like I said, all the OG characters back. And hey man, the game was just fun. The school stories the robot club was the most annoying side mission about all of Lost Judgment for me. I don't know if you got to the robot club.
Oh, I got to it.
Kudos to you for passing it, because it took me forever to get there, because I was trying to get to the boxing club, but whatever.
No, that's where I stopped too.
Yeah, smart man. I enjoyed skateboarding around, you know what I'm saying, Yokohama. It was good to walk around Yokohama as Tak, even though considering, I was having a dragon flashback. But, fun game. The game looked beautiful as hell. Now, I will say this though. You definitely will feel the difference between what performance and enhanced mode, because just out of curiosity, I kind of changed it just to see. Now, the game looks fantastic in enhanced mode, but once you start fighting, you can kind of definitely feel that slowdown, especially when it's a bunch of enemies on the screen. But like I said, overall though, I love it. Shout out to them actually having a new game plus and not just a premium adventure mode, so you can actually go through the story again, you know what I'm saying, with all your stuff. So yeah, man, I'm gonna do another playthrough of it, but not right now. There was a bunch of other stuff I gotta finish. But yeah, number 3 is Lost Judgment.
All right, well said. Well, I might as well add on to that, because that's also my number 3 is Lost Judgment. I definitely share the same sentiments that you did. Again, beautiful game. Also, the reason why it's number 3 and not 1 or 2 is, like you said, because of the story. Honestly, the story was good. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little off put about them having the school be a big focus on the earlier part of the game. I was like, I don't know how this gonna work. Also, is nobody just noticing me just randomly messing up high schoolers in the school and stuff? Like, I know there's, certain ones who were like, with the quote unquote Yakuza and had them friends come in to dress as schoolers, but like the kids that were doing the bullying, like, you beat up those guys a couple of times, actually. Like,
a
lot, couple, but plot devices and stuff. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy the game. As I said, the story was kind of my main thing. I'll be honest. If you cut out the school part, well, no, the school is kind of an integral part of the story. I was going to say this low-key felt like it could have been DLC for the first Lost Judgment. Because I do feel there was a little bit of fluff added in there in a couple of chapters where it's just kind of like,
definitely,
yeah, you'll do this and do that and all this and things like that. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy it. I'm kind of like with you, the main protagonist. I'm frenemy, I guess. It is kind of cool how they kind of basically both have the same goal, but Tak wants to do it his way and the other dude wants to do it his way. Both of their views of justice. I mean, that's all I can really say. I do like the new fighting style of Snake. That was the one I used the most. Just the parry was amazing. And then once you kind of level it up, like, you get in the EX mode, you can just do a whole bunch of damage to people. I was kind of like you. I was having flashbacks. I was like, oh man, we in Yokohama in Jinsho. Are we gonna see Ichiban or anyone? I won't spoil it, but you do see a side character or a party member from Like a Dragon, and he's just like on screen for like 15 seconds doing nothing, like just kind of just chilling, don't say anything.
Literally.
Guess they didn't feel like paying his actor. I guess the other dude was in Like a Dragon too. The
one that was cooking.
No, not him. The one you actually talked to. The one that is your brother. I think because I think you fight him in Like a Dragon, if I'm not mistaken.
You do.
So yeah, so I guess that's one. There may be some other ones. I haven't gone through all the content, so there may be some other people in there sprinkled and like side quests or stuff like that. But yeah, overall, Lost Judgment, I do feel like it's a proper follow-up. I'm probably sure there is some tension right now with the lead actor for Tak, so this may be the last one that we get. I hope that it's not, because pretty much what's supposed to happen with the Yakuza universe is Like a Dragon is going to be their new, like, all the Yakuza games for now going forward are going to be that style of gameplay, and Lost Judgment was supposed to stay their traditional action. But if he doesn't come back, I guess, I don't know, are we gonna have a new protagonist? Is Kaito gonna become the new main character?
I mean, they do got the Kaito Stories DLC, so maybe that's their way of experimenting with Kaito as the main.
Seems like, what, maybe we can just like write off Tak or something, something like that. But that's our number 3, Lost Judgment.
Okay, so I had a hard time flipping back and forth between which one was going to be number 1 and which one of these was going to be number 2.
Same.
But my number 2 is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And look, long story short, how you feel about Halo is the way I feel about Mass Effect. Like, it is one of my favorite video game franchises, like, of all time. And just hearing the fact that they was actually updating Mass Effect 1 with, the combat of Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. Because, like, let's be honest, Mass Effect 1 did not hold up well, like, at all. It barely held up when the game came out.
Not at all.
But if you back and, like, played, when it was on EA Play, yeah, it was one of those, like, yeah, let me just get through Mass Effect 1 just so I get to Mass Effect 2. Mm-hmm. I ain't going through it again to try to be, like, super leveled up, none of that now. But, the fact that they, made it look better, they smoothed out the gameplay, they gave you all the DLC except the Pinnacle Station. But, I mean, honestly, who really cares about the Pinnacle Station from, like, the first Mass Effect game, being honest. But, look, Mass Effect 2 is still my favorite, and I spent plenty of hours on this game, just like I did when they all came out originally. I forgot how fun it was being a renegade, just throwing people out of windows and just punching people. I punched that reporter on all 3 games. I am not ashamed of it at all. But yeah, man. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That's my number two. Like I said, I probably had some of the most fun, like going through the universe. The ending for Mass Effect 3 is still a touchy spot, even with the extended cut, because honestly, I could have just did it like that from the get go. But yeah, Legendary Edition, bravo. Y'all made Mass Effect 1 playable. You know what I'm saying? It's not just an automatic, let me just run through it. You know, you might consider like actually going through it again. But yeah, man, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is my number two.
All right. Well, I mean, once again, I'll just piggyback off of that because that's my number two as well. Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you. So normally I don't like to put I have a lot of weird rules for my list. I don't like to put like remakes or remasters on my list because I like to have my list to be just pure games that came out.
Right.
But as you said, this year I've kind of decided, like, you know what, I'm just going to put what I personally enjoyed, whether it is a multiplayer only game, a remake of a game that came out 12 years ago, what have you. But yeah, Mass Effect Legend Edition, just kind of like you said, I low-key kind of wish I was a little bit younger so this could be the way I experience Mass Effect.
Right.
Because yeah, like you said, one did not hold up. And this is from somebody in anticipation for this game replayed Mass Effect 1 on PC with mods, which made it look better. Not that good, but you still got those old archaic mechanics from 2007 in the game. There's like only so much you can mod, but yeah, it definitely didn't hold up. But yeah, this is definitely the definitive way to play Mass Effect now. I unless you want to go back and play the originals just to put yourself through pain, I don't know why you wouldn't play this. But yeah, I mean, it's what it is. It's probably one of the most, if not the most influential RPG out there. There's been a bunch of games that have copied its dialogue system, try to copy its gameplay mechanics. You know, it really was probably one of the first games to really be purely like cinematic in that sense of basically you're playing through a movie and your choices actually matter and you actually do get different outcomes. Like, I didn't know I wasn't aware that there's an option where you could totally not recruit Garrus in Mass Effect 1 and not get until Mass Effect 2.
Exactly.
First of all, I'd be like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Garrus is probably one of the most useful teammates in the game.
One of the best characters throughout the whole Mass Effect universe.
Exactly. Like, just don't know why, but I didn't know that was an option. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I'll definitely say if you're into any type of RPGs or whatever, or if you've never played a Mass Effect, definitely play the Legendary Edition. Whether I'm playing on PC, so I'm probably sure it's still good on the consoles as well. But yeah,
I'm playing on Xbox. It's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, phenomenal for sure. But yeah, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, our number 2 as well.
So look, I know our number ones are gonna be different because my number one is the game that he done already said on his list anyway. And now that I said that, he probably already know what it is. But my number one is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for the PlayStation 5. I had so much fun playing this damn game. Like, I've been a fan of like the Ratchet and Clank games since like the PS2. So I understand like how you feel about platform. You know what I'm saying? About platforming games, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the opposite. Well, in this regard, like the crazy part is like when Crash Bandicoot 4 came out, I loved it, but it was so damn difficult to the point to where like I was like, I don't want to play this no more. You know what I'm saying? To where like I didn't really want to finish it. But Ratchet and Clank, it just gives me that classic platforming feeling. Like you said, there's literally no load times. Like, rather it's going, you know what I'm saying, traveling through dimensions, like just instantly with the touch of a button, or rather you choose between Rivet, you know what I'm saying, and Ratchet and going, you know, picking what planets y'all gonna go to. I mean, all the classic crazy Ratchet and Clank weapons are here. Yeah, man. Shout out to the sprinkler. And the funny part is, like, at first I wasn't using the sprinkler. I was using like the fun guy and like the glove of doom. But like once you start unlocking like all the other weapons, yeah, bro, it's it gets real. And story wise, like you said, kind of traditional. You kind of know what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? They both gotta go through different dimensions and come together and do what they gotta do. But it's just fun, man. Like, you know what you're gonna get out of a Ratchet and Clank game, and it's like just pure enjoyment and pure fun. So yeah, man. My number one, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Game's just so goddamn fun, yo. Like, that's really all I gotta say.
No, I'm definitely there with you, and I'm finally glad that we have a game on our list that's different, because the last two,
right?
That's
why I was just like, I know our number one is gonna be different for sure.
So for my number one, it was honestly, it took me a while. Like right before we got on the call, I put this there because I was flopping between Mass Effect and Lost Judgment, and the reason why I was iffy on this one, because I haven't finished this game yet. But from what I have played, and from what I would honestly say the leap in, I guess you could say, technology or gameplay or whatever for this genre, it's going to make it super difficult for me to play any other type of game like this that's not like this. My number one is Tales of Arise. So
I'm not surprised by that.
So, I was very much looking forward to this game. I'm a big fan of the Tales series. Tales of Vesperia is still one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. Vesperia was cool. Zestiria was okay, but Vesperia was kind of what got me into the series. So when I first started seeing stuff for this game, I played the demo of it that came out earlier this year. My only critique was I wasn't a fan of the voice acting, and I don't know, it just felt flat, like it didn't feel believable. Whatever they did in between then and now, they totally fixed, because the voice acting is phenomenal in this game. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still your typical JRPG. You know, you have your character, there's problems, and it pretty much, for y'all that don't play JRPGs, it usually goes like this. You have your main character. Sometimes they have amnesia, sometimes they don't. In this case, I take that back. He does have amnesia because he doesn't know his name. So there's another trope. But pretty much you have like what you would call a basic level problem. So stuff's happening in his area. He's like, all right, I'm gonna fight. Boom, you do that. Then you have like a city level problem. It was like, all right, there's stuff happening next door to us. We got to go help them. And then the final part is like a world level problem. It's like, all right, we got to go save the world. So that's usually how like things ramp up in JRPGs. In this game, and I'm playing this on PS5, by the way, the update they made to their engine was so phenomenal. This game is gorgeous. When I say gorgeous, it is gorgeous. Like, you know how most JRPGs can look very dated, you know, like they may be made in this year, but they're using older engines, or they kind of have their trophy stuff. This, I'm not going to say it looks as good as like a Ratchet and Clank or like a Horizon or Last of Us, but in the JRPG sense, was as good as you can get those type of styles and characters to look. It looks phenomenal. Gameplay is amazing. It's an action RPG. You have party members, and they kind of similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, where you build up a meter and then you can do an attack. You call in your person, they do their attack. They have team attacks, and you can switch between, and each character plays different. So you have like the sword guy who can use fire and do stuff like that. You have this girl who shoots like a rifle, but she can also throw bombs. And then you've got the mage, but the mage takes a while, so you got to wait for her spell to cast. But then you can store the spell and then cast another spell and do double the damage. And then you got a sword and shield. Like, it's just a bunch of like, they pretty much put like different classes into each character, and every character plays different. And I love it for that, because you can pretty much play a different class every time that you want to go into battle. So like for enemies that fly, I use the gun lady, because the sword guy, you got to jump up there to get up there. For bigger enemies, I use the sword guy because he can kind of tank hits a little bit, and you can just go in there and do that. But yeah, Tales of Arise, so far I've enjoying this game. One thing that I love about really games or JRPGs in general is when they make you hate the person that you're about to fight.
Yes.
I will never forget the first time in Persona 5 when I got ready to do the boss fight against Kamashido, and I was like, yo,
oh my God, bro.
I was like, let's do this. You've done some really messed up stuff, and I'm about to beat the mess out of you. This game does that to a T. I've just got to a part where a person that probably should have joined your party would die, but you actually get his son in your party instead. And you're about to fight the boss that pretty much killed him. And you're just like, all right, let's go. You basically killed our support, like our moral support person that basically gave us the will to fight. Like, let's do this. But yeah, overall, it's an amazing game. And even though I haven't finished it, and I don't even think I'm halfway through the game, I gotta put it as my number one, because I will honestly say I will probably no life this game now that I have the time to kind of, you know, put towards it. You know, when I don't have people over my apartment using my PS5. But yeah, I would just say my number one is Tales of Arise. I want to say it's probably the new gold standard for JRPGs, as I said, with just how good this game looks, how fluid it feels, how good the writing is. You know, you can craft stuff. It's just typical stuff, but it's just done with a little bit extra polish. It's going to make it very difficult for JRPGs in the future for me to kind of play and not be like, okay, well, this isn't like Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise did this like this, and compare it to that. But yeah, that's my number one, Tales of Arise.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get this on my PS5, because the way you're describing it, yeah, I definitely have to. I got to add this to the Arsenal fam. Now,
I will say it you know, I have friends that played this and they beat it. It is a long game. It does a thing where, like, there's basically 4 or 5 evil people that you got to deal with. And then I think after you beat them, there's like a plot twist that happens. So I'm about 15 hours in, and I think I'm on the second Lord there, as they're called. So it's definitely, you know, if you like those longer games, definitely that, but just be prepared. It's gonna be a journey.
I mean, you forgot I've put in over 100 hours on all versions of Persona 5. Like, I've screenshotted and sent you all the hours I done in all versions of just Persona 5 alone. Whether it's the regular one, Royale, the other version of Persona 5 that came. Yeah, I've put in over 100 hours in all versions of it. So yeah, obviously me and long video games go hand in hand.
I got you. But yeah, that's our top 10s list. As you said, for y'all that, you know, don't want to watch or can't, I'll put all the lists down below. Before we get out of here, I know 2022 is shaping up to be a superb year, especially within the first couple of months. February is going to be a doozy. Do you have anything in particular you're looking forward to next year?
If it actually comes out, God of War. I need this Spider-Man 2. And I'm not expecting it to come out in 2022. You can just give me something. Y'all already told us that we getting Venom. Look, if y'all give me like some Spider-Man Web of Shadows with the you know, the Marvel version engine, I'm cool with that. Cause Spider-Man Web of Shadows definitely don't get the love it definitely deserves. But yeah, those two for sure. The Marvel's Wolverine game, I know I'm like naming all superhero games, but those are like the ones that like just like come out the top of my head. Yeah, but yeah, those for sure. And you're probably gonna laugh when I say this, but I'm knocking on wood, and I am just hoping and praying that this WWE 2K video game does not be a complete cluster that I'm thinking is gonna be. So yeah, those are like the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. What about you?
For me, I know for sure I'm looking forward to Sifu. That's coming out.
Oh yeah,
first week of February. Of course, Horizon Forbidden West.
Not a gigabytes.
I mean, you know, sometimes sacrifices got to be made.
Touche.
So those two for sure. Another one, which I'm glad it finally got a release date, but unfortunately it's not coming out until holiday 2022. It's called Sea of Stars. I don't know if you played, there's a game called The Messenger. It was kind of like a Ninja Gaiden-esque old school game.
Seen it, didn't play it though.
Okay. It's made by those same guys. If you get a chance, look up. They just put out a new trailer, I think, during this little last Switch indie thing that they had earlier this week. Beautiful game. It's giving me Golden Sun vibes, which is why I really am excited for it. Pixel art looks amazing. Combat looks really good. I was watching a stream last year. Somebody got early access because I don't know if it was the devs or something. They were basically playing a demo build of it, and the game looks amazing. So that's one of the other things I'm looking forward to. Other than that, I'm interested in the Pokemon Arceus, whatever that is. Am I excited for it? No. I think the game is gonna run like crap on the Switch, but
yeah, it's not gonna be great.
I'm interested to see what it's gonna be like. That'll be a fun week. I think that comes out like late January.
Oh, I'm tripping. How the hell did I forget about Gotham Knights? I definitely need Gotham Knights in 2022. Hey, I'm telling everybody right now, I'm Red Hood. Ain't nobody picking Red Hood but me. I'm Jason Todd, me and me alone. Y'all can have Dick Grayson. Now, if they have like Damien on there, you know what I'm saying, then I'll rock with Damien. But nah, man. That and the Suicide Squad game. Like, after seeing that trailer for that Suicide Squad game, yeah, like and once again, like I said, I know it's still all superhero games, but those are gonna be some fantastic games coming out. So yeah, those are definitely ones I'm looking forward to for sure.
Got you. No, yeah, I mean, those are definitely probably gonna be game of the year contenders if they all do come out. So definitely some good stuff to look forward to. But yeah, that's gonna be our list. I do want to appreciate y'all for watching. Dom, if you want to plug anything, your channel, where they can find you at to get your opinions on your what superhero you have for your birth month.
Yeah, man. So you can follow me personally on Twitter at FreshlySnipes21. Yeah, the reason why it's funny because like I posted this picture about like what superhero you got, and like everybody that's got like December, they ended up being Batman. They are like losing their shit. Like they are upset. I never knew people hated Batman this much until like I posted this picture. But yeah, FreshlySnipes21 on Twitter, Euphoric Trip on YouTube and on the Twitter as well. Yeah, man, just follow me for all the shenanigans because there's plenty of it.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this year's video. 2021 is down. We will see y'all next year for 2022. If y'all have any games that y'all feel should have been in the top 10, or well, no, it's our list, screw that. What y'all top 10s list is, leave it in the comments down below. I'm Mike, that's Dom. We'll see y'all next year. Peace.